Yesterday was somebody doing a live on TikTok outing somebody or exposing them, right? So, sometimes you could go on a date and it doesn't work out. And whatever you guys choose to do that's mutual as adults, that's your decision. So, of course, people have regrets in their lives, but, it is what it is. So, one person used the term dick and dash. I think that's hysterical. I never heard of that before. Dick and dash. I used to say, because it goes for male and female, I used to say hump and dump, where somebody might have sex with you for the first time and then you never hear from them again, right? So this person starts to talk about how she met this guy on Bumble and she was amazing chemistry and all this other stuff, and she doesn't even live close. She only talked to him for a week. Okay, so you talk to somebody for a week on the phone, whether it's texting or just through that website. Next thing you know, you feel some type of attraction, and that's perfectly fine. But you only know this person for 1 week. You shouldn't be throwing your coochie around or doing anything with anybody after knowing them for a week, because you don't know shit for a week. Anybody could paint the most amazing picture of themselves, and they could also wheel you in with the right bait, and next thing you know, you think this is your soulmate and you got that person, and this is the person you've been waiting for your whole life. So when you're doing the whole dating thing, take things slowly. It doesn't matter if your pants are on fire and you're so attracted to that person. It's like, if this is what that person does and that person likes to sleep around and they don't tell you that, you're not going to know till after the fact or after the matter. Plus, if you're going around having sex with random people unprotected, that's your choice too, and their choice. Because say if they had something and you catch it and then you tell them, oh, I got this, the person's going to be like, I don't care, I already had it. Because they're the ones who gave it to you. People don't think ahead. There's always cause and effect. This is how life goes. You could say the butterfly effect, the domino effect, whatever. There's always something that could happen. And what is that? So if you meet some random person, you only know them for a week, and you have sex with them and you catch something, or if you have a one-night stand from meeting somebody at a bar, you should be afraid afterwards. You should be afraid beforehand. But of course, the emotions and all the hormones are flaring and all that other stuff, and you just go for it. But one thing that this person has done, I don't know the person, but what she says, that 42 women have come forward. 42 have come forward since she's posted and exposed him on TikTok. Sounds like another narcissist to me. So, and she said he slept with 6 women in a weekend. So it's like, did he sleep with those women before her or after her? It's a lot of stuff to worry about. Plus, she drove like an hour or so to meet him for the first time and rented a hotel room. I guess to rent a room is okay, because then you could sleep there and then drive home. But they fooled around for 5 hours straight. You got to give both of them credit. That's a long time, But at the same time, you can, if you meet somebody and you're intimate with them that quickly, one's if it's just not good, or they like weird kinky stuff and now you're turned off. Now you're going to feel bad for not wanting to be in a relationship or doing anything again. It has nothing to do with being narcissistic, because there's some people that like some weird freaky shit and some people who don't. And if you both are equal, then it's great. One's if not. But with this person, he's just uses women for free sex. And then he always plays that part, right? What is that part? It's like, oh, my ex left me and cheated on me. I was a loyal, good person. And this person used some sick stuff where the person seems like a malignant narcissist, or at least a cluster B for sure, personality disorder. And if you're not sure what that is, if you have Netflix, watch Dirty John. The first one is about a person who's a malignant narcissist, and the second season is called Dirty John, and it's Betty, and she probably has borderline personality disorder or histrionic personality disorder, but they're all in cluster B. So if you're not sure what that is, watch that show on Netflix. It's called Dirty John. There's 2 seasons. So with this person, he just manipulates women. And where's the easiest way to talk to a ton of people? The dating sites, social media. And these people have game. They know what they're doing. It's just like a salesperson. When they call you up and do a cold call, they have a script. And they fine tune it as they go on with their job. So next thing you know, in the beginning, they couldn't sell anything. Next thing you know, they're selling everybody everything because they got their script down. And this person did the same thing. He said, oh, I've been single for a long time. I haven't had sex in a year. Just because a person says they haven't had sex in a year doesn't mean that you should go throw your coochie at them and be like, well, I want to be the first one, to break the celibacy. It's like, who knows if that person's telling you? And why didn't they have sex for a year? Especially if the person's young and attractive, right? It's like, why is that? Oh, because I just want to heal first. Some people are just full of shit. Also, from what this woman has said, she said that the man said his brother died. That's horrible, right? Anybody that you know. But that's total lie. Also, she said that he was saying how his son died from cancer. That's a horrible thing to use as a line. And with the 37 people that he's talked to that come forward to her, so far it's altogether 42, they said that he used a story and his child died to each person in a different way. It's just, he's lying. I mean, a pathological liar. That's a dangerous thing. So, what am I coming to with this whole rant itself? It's like when you meet somebody, it doesn't matter how attracted you are, control yourself. Get to know the person so there's less of a regret. Of course, you could be with somebody for, say, dating for 3 months and never do anything and then have sex and then it's horrible. I mean, if everything's based on sex, then you might not want to be in the relationship anymore. That's totally up to you. And it's something maybe you could work on. It depends. But, meeting somebody and right away being intimate when you don't know anything about them besides the picture that they painted for you, it's very dangerous. We got, people forget that HIV still exists, AIDS still exists, herpes, syphilis, all these things still exist. What's the other one where you could get warts, HPV, you could get cancer from it. All these things still exist. It's just not plastered all over the news because now there's medication to keep you alive. So now, before people would die from certain things, now you could have it and live a somewhat healthy life or healthy, normal life because of the meds. But it doesn't mean that you're not a hostess with the mostess. So some people are just doing stuff, and it doesn't matter how old we get, doesn't mean you're getting wiser. Some people are just not mature when it comes to certain things. But don't let the person sell you and then all of a sudden you jump in bed with them. Get to know the person. After the fact, the person dicked and dashed, humped and dumped, where the person just disappeared. And one other woman said, after sex, he just said he had to get something in his car and he never came back. So, and one woman said, they fell asleep together. When she woke up, he wasn't there. It's like, that's crazy. And that's really scary because you just don't know. And you don't know the person. Once if you go to bed with them and you fall asleep with them, next thing you know, you never wake up because they killed you. They murdered you. You just don't know. The Craigslist murders. One guy was getting women off of Craigslist before, when it was like more of a dating thing at one point, I guess, and murdering people. I don't know if they ever caught him or not. So you have to be careful. And she said that she did a background check on him and saw that he was in jail and arrested and all these other things. So those were red flags. So, now the person's kind of getting vengeance on exposing them, which is their prerogative. But at the same time, if you do background checks on somebody before you date them and you see they've been arrested, and what was it for? If it's stalking, domestic violence, it's like, why are you going out with this person? Why didn't you just block them and never speak to them again? I don't really understand certain things, and live and learn, right? So the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over, expecting different results. So if you keep ending up in the same relationships and they keep breaking up in the same type of manner, what are you doing wrong? Are you doing something wrong? Are you picking the same person in a different body. Think about that. So, this is just somebody who was on TikTok yesterday ranting about somebody, and the guy seems like a dangerous narcissist. It could be, remember, people could have comorbidities. It's not just one mental illness or personality disorder. It could be a bunch of other underlying things. So, now since she came out, she had 37 women contact her about the same issue, and now she's up to 42 so far. That's a big number. So, just like a pyramid scheme, if you have one person that had sex with 3 people, and then that each person had 3 people, it's like, that's hundreds of people you had sex with. This is what they used to say when I was a kid in school, because they're like, watch out, HIV. It's like, protect yourself. And all these women seem to have not protected themselves. So depending where they are on the pecking order, they could have maybe they're lucky that they didn't. It's just too much of a risk, because that's your health. Doesn't matter how rich you are, how beautiful you are, whatever it is. The most important thing is your health. So why are you going to put that in somebody else's hands? I remember dating somebody for 3 months. We didn't do anything. And the time that it was most likely the time to do that, I felt something was wrong, and I asked her a question. And she just jumped back. I go, do you have anything? And she was just like, and then I threw out a name, and she's like, wow, you're smart. And we didn't do anything. And I was like, okay, this is over with. And she's like, see, this is why I didn't share it with you. I was like, yeah, but you didn't give me that choice to put my health at risk or not. You didn't give me the choice. I go, I was smart enough, and I had enough control because I was trying to get to know you for yourself, where I didn't want to do anything. But you didn't tell me you had this. This could alter my life in so many ways, and with anybody else. And what you have is dangerous. It wasn't HIV, but you didn't give me that choice. I go, thank God I felt something and I asked something. And the way you responded, I felt I was on track, and I added a couple things and you agreed to it. And then when I said the name, you were like, wow, you're smart. This is 3 months. After that, she's like, oh, it's wrong. You made me feel bad. It's like, made you feel bad. You put my health at risk. Thank God we didn't do anything. So you really have to start to think about stuff. If somebody has this script of, woe is me, I haven't had sex in a year, I'm this hot young guy, all the women want me, but I want a real relationship, or vice versa. Women are just as bad these days. When you meet them for the first time, and if they live far away, maybe they're meeting people far away so they could have a lot more people to play with, because that person won't be close enough to see them as often. There's a lot of things you got to start to look at. But when you meet that person, get to know them. Get to know them first before you jump in bed with them. Because then they might dick and dash or hump and dump, and next thing you know, you're left in a fog, just not knowing what's going on, and now worried about your physical health. So there's a lot of stuff to look at with the whole online dating, and there's no guarantees, there's no safe space in the world, but online there's a lot of predators. I've learned that from being on TikTok. There's a lot of predators and a lot of people who aren't what they seem. So, if you're looking for a relationship, get to know the person. And when you ask questions, they should be able to answer them if they want you to get to know who they are, And don't say, oh, I want this type of guy, and then ask a certain question, because they're going to tailor that question to what your preference is. Get to know them for who they are. Give it some time. If the attraction is there, it's always going to be there. If they're a good person, that attraction's going to build. If they're not a nice person, it's going to start to lessen, and you say, thank God I wasn't with this person. But give things time. Don't rush into anything. And if you're the type that does background checks before you meet somebody, nothing wrong with that at all. If you see red flags, if you see domestic violence and stalking of any kind as in their record, that's like, you block that person and you just never talk to them again. So to get a good idea of what this is like in a kind of a dangerous scheme, watch Dirty John on Netflix, the first season. It's going to freak you out, but at least it might be a wake-up call. So hopefully some of this, it's all food for thought. Hopefully some of this has helped you think a little bit. But beware out there. Chris Rock once said, when you meet somebody, you don't meet them, you meet their representative. Of course, everybody's going to show their best selves, but take time to get to know anybody. And if you're seeing red flags, don't throw glitter and paint them another color. Take them for what they are. If there's certain things that go against your morals, your ethics, your religion, whatever it is, don't put that aside because that person's hot. Because the next thing you know, you might get burnt.